Hi, I'm Avery Davidson.
And I'm Kristen Oaks-White. Thanks for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture. Cold weather, king cakes, that means it's time for crawfish. Despite a cold couple of weeks in January, this year's crawfish season is off to a great start.
This week, TWILA's Carl Wiggers takes us to Jeff Davis Parish to see how the catch is looking for one farmer and the huge difference he's seeing from last season.
Crawfish are already filling sacks in Dylan Benoit's fields in Jeff Davis Parish.
I farm about 1,000 acres of rice and 1,000 acres of crawfish every year.
Benoit is very excited about the traps Carlos is pulling in this field after a very tough year in 2024.
I am very optimistic. I think it'll be a really good season. It's just going to take some time. Crawfish need to grow, sun needs to come out. It's going to be a good season.
According to Benoit, last year's crawfish season left much to be desired in his part of the state.
I mean, it was a drought, seemed like from the beginning to the end, and we pushed through, we pumped, we flushed these ponds, we kept the stubble alive, we tried to do everything we could to make these crawfish have an environment that they could have survived. And I mean, you just can't beat Mother Nature. We were probably, I'd say, a quarter of the production that I would think we should have been. We pushed through to the end because we still had to restock. So we had to get the seed crawfish to be able to stock those acres back that were in rice in 24. We're catching volumes right now that I think we probably caught in March last year.
One benefit to the region Benoit farms in is the ability to rotate rice and crawfish. Another huge factor on his farm are the generations who farmed before him to help pave the way for his success today.
My dad, my grandpa have been doing this probably since, for sure big time and since the 90s. So they've made mistakes and figured out how much we need to seed on this land, and just mistakes that at 31 years old in 2025, I didn't have to make those mistakes. They trial and errored it, and it helped me a lot. When I got started farming, we got straight into crawfishing, and it was production agriculture. It wasn't just, we'll go try it, whereas they had to learn how to do it and figure out what needed to be done.
Part of that trial and error has led to this dock where Benoit sells part of his crawfish crop to retailers. One thing about selling his crawfish that may be a little surprising is Benoit does not want the price of crawfish to be too high. He wants his customers to be able to buy a lot of it.
It's a supply and demand market. We got to move the supply to have more demand. There's no other way around it. We want the price to be as good for the consumer as it is for us. But at the end of the day, there's a per acre cost that we have to get every time we go out there and run that trap.
So we're back to Carlos in the field.
They got families to feed too, They got to make money.
Every trap that he pulls with crawfish is a welcome sight, of course. And with every week that passes, the catch should improve and the size of the crawfish should as well.
So we're about 70% rolling right now. We got some more guys to come in and more acres to get trapped up. It looks really good. It's slow due to the cold weather, but other than that, it looks really good.
In Welsh, Louisiana, I'm Carl Wiggers reporting for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
Carl also sat down with Benoit for a new episode of the Louisiana Farm Bureau podcast. If you'd like to listen and learn more about Dylan and his farm, be on the lookout for that episode coming out wherever you listen to podcasts.
One of the big topics each spring is what the acreage breakdown for each crop is going to look like that year. Michael Diliberto may have some answers for 2025. At the recent LSU Ag Center Outlook Forum, Diliberto took a look at the latest economic indicators and said corn is looking more favorable this year than beans. That said, it will be a difficult decision as low commodity prices and high overhead continue to plague agriculture, not only in the state, but nationwide.
Right now, I think when you look at crop ratios of 450 corn versus, say, 1050 beans, when you look at land rent, cost of production, I would think corn acres should increase at the expense of beans only because producers are going to look to see what cash flows. How can they increase corn yields versus how can they increase soybean yields? A tough decision to make in a commodity year like this because every crop has tight margins. But I think corn maybe received the biggest boost in that January report as opposed to soybeans, mainly because of the supply side reduction that we saw.
The USDA will release its prospective plantings report at the end of March, but Louisiana farmers will already have started planting as early as late February. While there is a lull in activity on many farms, some young farmers and ranchers are taking advantage of this time to better themselves.
One way they can do that is by getting involved in the Louisiana Farm Bureau Young Farmers and Ranchers program. A group of more than 60 farmers aged 18 to 35 met in South Central Louisiana for the YFNR winter meeting. The group toured the LSU Ag Center's Iberia Research Station just outside of Jeanerette. Some of the group were familiar with the work done on cattle and forage research. That's because some in the group, like YFNR Chair Nicholas Jaras, raise cattle on their farm. However, nearly all learned something new in the seafood processing demonstration lab. Jaras says that's why meetings like this one are so important.
Here, with it being cattle and seafood, and us from all across the state, there's many people from the north part of the state here that don't know anything about seafood or seafood processing. Could be sugarcane guys that deal with no cattle at all. I mean, there's grain guys that don't deal with cattle. So it's just, it kind of helps you understand your entire industry outside of your own crops.
Here's one thing the YFNR's learned about: these labels. The Iberia Research Station worked with the Delcom Seafood and Farmers Market to develop this label so fishers could process and sell their catch directly to consumers.
One of the biggest issues in sugarcane has been the adverse effect wage rate increase, specifically on how it affects sugarcane hauling in Louisiana. A court injunction in December put the brakes on the increase. Sugarcane farmer Mike Melanson says it was welcome news, but hopes it becomes permanent in 2025.
It's been an unfair burden to agriculture and to the seasonal workers that we have, having to pay really a extra 50% higher wage than we normally do. So it's pretty taxing. We've gotten a ruling. They got some temporary rulings that's I think it's gonna hold that off for a little while. Perhaps we'll get back to keeping the truckers as just regular ag workers as well. I guess everyone's hopeful the new administration will help that. I think it's going to get handled in the courts. Obviously, if we have a favorable ruling from the Department of Labor Secretary, that would surely help us. This problem did not start with the Trump or Biden administration. This is kind of a departmental thing that's been going on for probably the last 10 years. So hopefully the new administration can maybe change the direction and trend and make it more grower and consumer friendly.
You can follow any and all developments with this story through TWILA's social media pages.
This week marks the beginning of the 106th Annual American Farm Bureau Convention in San Antonio, Texas. As you watch this, we're there to see what's changing in the world of agriculture. Don't you love the magic of television? Convention is a place for farmers, ranchers, growers, and industry leaders to gather and discuss how to shape their futures. There are numerous workshops, special guest speakers, and a wealth of knowledge to share. It will also be Louisiana Farm Bureau President Richard Fontenot's first convention as president of the organization.
Really excited going in and having an opportunity to be at American Farm Bureau this year representing Louisiana. It's an honor and a dream and a privilege. We have a lot of things to do, and collectively I think we'll do it in the manner as it relates to agriculture and make sure Louisiana is represented all the way through the process.
Our next show will be a full report on everything happening at convention, as well as ag stories from across Texas. TWILA's Josh Meeks and Neil Melanson have a preview of what to expect from San Antonio.
Hi everybody. As you can see, we're not in Louisiana right now. We're at the San Antonio Riverwalk here for the 106th AFBF Convention. And I know Josh and I have been having some fun here getting to know the city, and we're getting ready to go out and do our stories, one of which is pretty important to current events right now.
That's right. I've been talking to a judge who's also a rancher down about 24 miles away from the U.S.-Mexico border, and he's seen quite a lot of activity in the last 4 years. He's had property damages, he's had a lot of trespassing, and he's very curious to see what this next administration is going to do about it. Immigration, of course, is one of the big topics here at AFBF, as is the Farm Bill.
The Farm Bill is the story Avery Davidson's going to bring to you about this critical issue that's being discussed. As you imagine, it's a hot topic here at the 106th Convention. I'm going to be following a Louisiana couple that's moved to Texas, and as they've decided to establish a farm to raise goats, and their products are really popular here. Carl Wiggers is going to bring you all the sights and sounds of convention following some of our Louisiana folks there.
We're really excited to bring all of these stories and then some. Reporting from San Antonio for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, I'm Josh Meeks. He's Neil Melanson.
Thanks, guys. Can't wait to see all of those stories. Louisiana restaurants come and go, so there aren't many that can say they've been in operation for nearly a century.
We're following Louisiana Ag and Forestry Commissioner Dr. Mike Strain to Livingston Parish for this week's Crawfish Tales.
My motto has always been, if I don't eat it at home, we're not serving at the restaurant. You know, it's got to be good.
We are in Denham Springs at Don's Seafood. They've been in business 90 years, second generation.
The original store was downtown Lafayette. Now we have 6 stores: Lafayette, Gonzales, Metairie, Covington, Hammond, and Denham Springs. The I-10, I-12 corridor, we got it covered.
We serve good, high-quality local seafood. The shrimp, the oysters, the crawfish, and the catfish. And we've been doing business with the same catfish farmer for almost 60 years. We got some fresh farm-raised Louisiana catfish right here that we have custom cut by Herring's Pride. We'll batter it up, season it up with our own homemade seasoning. Make it look pretty, go straight in the grill. We started back in 1934. We are celebrating 90 years this year. This business was based off of them fishing, catching products, and selling it in their own restaurants. We like to say we were farm to table before that was even thought of.
Yes.
Before anybody put it together. I'm gonna go ahead and introduce y'all to our jacked up shrimp. We start with some fresh Gulf shrimp, peeled the vein. We put them into this, it's called an Able skimmer pan. We take a little garlic butter, and then we take our homemade jacked up mix. This is pepper jack cheese, bacon, and jalapeno. And we'll kind of mix this up and kind of move it around on top of there. Spread it out kind of evenly. Next, we'll go into the oven with it.
Tell us about your oysters.
Okay, so these are Gulf Bluecorn oysters. Most of them come from the Hopedale to the Chapel River. We try and focus on private leases because they're able to control sizing a lot better, and we get a good, consistent product. Because when you're going through, 10,000 oysters a week, you got to have something that's pretty consistent to serve to your guests.
Absolutely. We have the finest and the freshest and the best. And then when you add those Cajun and Creole recipes and those family recipes, that's what makes it very special. So Don's Seafood is a certified Louisiana restaurant, part of our certified family of companies. And if you look at the ingredients, they're using certified Louisiana ingredients. And so tried and true, just a family business, certified Louisiana. It just doesn't get any better than that.
To be in the restaurant business, you gotta love it. We used to work 7 days a week, can to can, and we did that for quite a while. My employees won't believe that, but at any rate, but we used to do that. We actually did.
I might not either.
Look at all this magnificent seafood. Tell me what we have here.
That's right here is jacked up oysters.
Jacked up oysters.
Some jacked up shrimp. That's the seafood platter over there, I believe. This is Cajun catfish, crawfish etouffee, charbroiled oysters. Man, we gotta eat. We gotta eat.
So y'all come on down to Don's Seafood and experience Louisiana. Certified Cajun, certified Creole, certified Louisiana. Certified Louisiana's Crawfish Tales with Commissioner Mike Strain was brought to you by the Louisiana Department of Agriculture and Forestry Certified Louisiana Program. For information about the Certified Louisiana, Certified Cajun, Certified Creole, Certified Craft Beverage, and the Certified Farm to Table Logo Program, visit certifiedlouisiana.org or ldaf.la.gov. Support Louisiana families. Look for Certified Louisiana logos at your favorite grocery, restaurant, or farmer's market. Buy Louisiana. It's the way to grow.
Still to come on TWILA, it's time to feast, right?
And we head to Tangipahoa Parish where beef is on the menu. Stay with us.
You're watching This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week.
Welcome to Feasting on Agriculture. I'm Kristen Oaks-White, and today we're in Tangipahoa Parish to speak with Dr. Justin Roberts to learn about the science that goes into producing a good cut of beef.
Feasting on Agriculture is brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, beef, it's what's for dinner, and by the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board, think rice.
Y'all can just stand right inside that gate for now, and I'm gonna go back up there and get some of the cows coming back this way, and then we can kind of move out to the grass.
Okay. Hey, girl. Anybody can, hey, girl.
We've got mostly registered Brangus cattle. As you can see, there's a few commercial cows out there. And we'll breed these Hereford cows with some Brahma bulls and make F1s, because that's what we do with the majority of our calves. Or we put a good group of bred heifers in a special sale every year. And we'll retain a few bulls for breeding purposes that we'll sell, and then everything that doesn't make the cut will go on a load, on a contract load.
So I've got the best cow calling tactics, and Landon hates it. I go, hey girl! And they pick their head up and they come every time.
Tinley, we had one called, Tinley's first little cow was named Pearl. She would come running to the fence at 2 years, oh, Pearly girly! And the cow would come running every time.
All of these, you get donor cows?
No, these aren't. I've got a couple on another place that are donor cows. We'll flush. There are a couple of embryo calves out here. The black calves on the Hereford cows are embryo cows from the cow we flushed last year. So,
why are you diluting a good thing? Why don't you just do straight Angus?
I do have one in there now. I'm gonna get some Angus and put a Brahma bull on them, because them black F1s.
What did the past 2 years have been like in the beef business?
Prior to 2 years ago, prices were low, and we used that opportunity to really build up and build a herd. Last year, we lost the lease, and it kind of worked out in our favor because the market was really good. So we took that opportunity to do some really major culling and get down to about half the cows we had before, but a lot better quality cow.
When it comes to making good beef, what do you look at?
If you're looking to produce good beef, you want growth characteristics in those cattle. You want them to have a good weaning weight, yearling weight, marbling well so that the flavor's there. But in my situation, we're selling a lot of seed stock, so we want those numbers there for the end producer to buy that seed stock, but we're also looking at maternal characteristics. Are they gonna milk well? Are they gonna hold up well? Are their feet and legs gonna hold up for multiple years? And that's part of what we look at, especially some of these Brahman influenced cattle like the Brangus breed that I have, is that we want them to last a while. If they're getting foot issues at 5 or 6 years old, well, then they're not profitable to us. We want them still having calves at 10, 12 plus years old. So these heifers were artificially inseminated 35 days ago today. And we're gonna check them and see if they're pregnant or not. She's pregnant, so.
That's the verdict, Fertile Myrtle?
Yep. She's pregnant too.
Woo!
I have clients ask me, do you think I need registered cattle? I want registered cattle. And I tell them, look, if you want registered cattle, buy registered cattle. But don't buy them because you think they're gonna bring more money. I do it because I enjoy the science behind the genetics and the matings. And are they making me any more money than if I had just a good commercial herd selling cows on a contract load? Probably not at this scale. You know, if I had 300 or 400 head and put on my own sale, maybe. But at this level, they don't. But I just enjoy the mating and seeing what 2 pairings of a bull and a cow make. The quality of beef and a steak, you know, I talked about marbling, and a marbling is the amount of fat that's within the muscle, not on the outside of the muscle, that's within the muscle. And that's what gives beef that flavor that we all like. And you know, there are different ways to breed that, and genetics play a factor into that too. You know, some people prefer a grass-fed calf, and there are certain genetics that marble better on grass than other genetics do. Yeah, that's what you're looking for in that marbling, is to get that flavor, that fat within the muscle on that cow.
When we come back, we're gonna head a few miles south to Independence, Louisiana, to the depot where we're gonna cook up some of this delicious beef. Stay with us. Well, now we're in Independence, Louisiana at the depot with Chef Trenton Oliphant, and we're gonna cook a beef dish with Louisiana beef. Tell me what we're gonna make today.
Today we're making some simple, quick and easy ribeye skewers.
Okay, so let's get started. What's the first thing we need to do?
So we're just gonna put this beef on here, this beautiful ribeye we got. We're gonna get some onion petals, and then we're just gonna layer them.
I feel like we have room for 4. Who can say no to more beef?
All right, so next we're just gonna season it up with our steak seasoning that we have in house.
Are you gonna tell me the secret of what's in the seasoning?
It's just your basic stuff, you know?
Oh, sure. Sure.
So we'll just take these, come over to our char grill. First, we're gonna put a little bit of pork fat on there. So we try to steer as clear as we can from seed oils at the depot, so all of our fryers are filled with pork fat.
So you pretty much just wanna sear it?
Yeah, we're just getting a sear on it. The cuts are pretty small cuts, so we're just gonna get a sear on all sides. All right, so we're just gonna take some of our, what we call Korean pepper sauce. It's got gochujang in it, which is like a pepper and fermented soy product. And we're not gonna go too heavy on it. We just wanna get a nice...
Man, they're beautiful already.
We don't wanna overdo it because we really wanna taste that beef. And you could put these back on the grill, but I'm just gonna use a torch because I don't wanna get my grill all dirty and sticky and burnt sugar on the grates. So then we'll take them, put them right down the center of the plate. And then we got some fried wonton strips here. We'll do just a little bit of sesame seed and green onion on the actual skewer. Put these right down the middle. And that'll just add a little crunch to it. There's your ribeye skewers with a gochujang glaze, fried wontons, green onion, and black and white sesame seeds.
Trenton, I cannot wait to taste this because it looks beautiful. It's excellent, and you made a special cocktail with it.
Oh yeah, so this is our Dark Side of the Moon. It's got blackberry preserves, key lime juice in it, and some other things. It's actually award-winning. We won Art of the Cocktail for Best Cocktail last year with it.
Let's dive right in.
Yeah.
And you tell me, so we
Just
pull
take
it
a
off
little
the
piece
fork?
off, yeah.
Okay.
Be a little more neat with it than you would at home.
Okay, so I got a wonton. I got.
Yeah, there you go.
That is awesome. That sauce. You're gonna have to give us the recipe for the sauce because is that a no?
Well, you can actually buy it here bottled, and then we're actually working to get it in some local supermarkets.
Well, I might have to take some of that home. That is so good.
Yeah, just something quick and simple, easy for people to make at home, and you can make it look nice with the wonton strips and green onion.
Trenton, this has been an excellent morning. Thank you so much for showing your creativity. And if you want to learn more about the depot, you can find a link on our website at twilatv.org. Until next time, we'll see you feasting on agriculture.
Feasting on Agriculture was brought to you by the Louisiana Crawfish Promotion and Research Board, Louisiana Crawfish, ask before you eat, and by the Louisiana Beef Industry Council, beef, it's what's for dinner, and by the Louisiana Rice Promotion Board, think rice.
Those kebabs really looked good.
I was going to bring you back some, but there was nothing left after we got done.
That's the sign of a good meal. Well, that does it for this edition of TWILA because there's nothing left. Be sure to join us for our in-depth coverage of the American Farm Bureau Convention next week.
Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also find all of these stories on our YouTube channel and be sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications so you know exactly when we put out new content.
For all of us here at TWILA, thank you for joining us. We hope to see you again right here next week.